Hey Vegas, we are back, biatches. This week we are here with Vegas Realty Check talking about falling home prices, raising loan apps, and the Fed's latest moves. We are also talking about the LVR director that was in and out in 24 hours, and we're building battles and things happening here on the Valley, so stay tuned for our show. Welcome back, Courtney.
Hi.
It's been so long.
It has.
Yes. So how are things going yesterday? Fed met. We have some market stats that we have on closed sales. Our housing stats right now are showing that sales are down. We have the year over year. This chart that we have up here is from 2024. So it shows where sales have been, how they've been dropping, and then a pretty steep drop that we've had over the last month, which I felt it. I see it in the market.
I think, with the rates not adjusting until a couple days ago, which we'll get into, I think that, we've seen a ton of listings go on market and there just wasn't a ton of buyers.
Yeah.
And so I think that creates obviously the perfect storm for an unbalance of markets. And it wasn't just here.
Yeah, no, it's been all across the country. We have some stats, even though we are, looks like we had a faster slowdown than some other states in the country, but hey, that's Vegas. We move fast.
Yeah.
In either direction.
That we do. So the Reserve did meet yesterday. The Feds met,
Yes.
and it was really good. It was what we were hoping for. However, typically when rates drop, it says a lot about what's going on in a bigger picture, which is usually economy slowing down.
Yeah.
The job market has decreased.
Not doing so good. Yeah.
And so, when we look at the good news is, of course, on our end, that means great things for lending, for real estate, right? We're going to see a lot of buyers coming to market now that maybe the payment went down $200-$400 a month for them, and now all of a sudden it's affordable.
Yeah.
But it's a little scary just seeing the overall picture of what that could mean. So either way, this is the biggest dip we've seen in the lowest rates we've actually seen in 3 years.
So have we already had effect from the quarter point that was dropped in the Fed?
So we are seeing for sure an uptick as far as loan applications, which I'll get into. But yep. So about 3 weeks ago, our national average was sitting right at a 6.875.
Okay.
And right now we're sitting right at about a 6.1% national average. That doesn't mean that people based on great qualifications, good credit, bad credit aren't going to get much lower or much higher rates.
Okay.
But it was a significant drop. So for us, we are waiting to see the next couple times they meet, and it is forecasted that they're going to drop significantly again. So if you're wanting to buy a house, do it now.
Yeah. Yeah, once the rates drop, there's going to be a lot of buyer activity. And a quarter point, I was actually hoping for a bigger cut. I don't think a quarter was quite enough to get us where we need to be, but I am glad that we got some kind of cut, instead of just keeping it the same.
And I was reading a lot of different news articles and things like that, and they did say that they didn't want to just do one dramatic cut. They want to do slower cuts to see. So like I said, the next 2 times they're supposed to meet this year, it is said that they're going to do more significant cuts.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I've seen articles on that too. 2 more cuts this year, and I really hope there's follow through on that because they've said it before and it didn't happen.
Yeah. So we are, of course, we're seeing a lot more, people that were kind of on the fence coming, wanting to do loan applications. Our company alone submitted, I think 68% of our loans submitted last week were refinance.
Yeah, and with that note, there's been an uptick in loan applications
Absolutely.
all around, all across the board. Everybody's been seeing that, which for sellers that have your home on the market, great news, because the loan application is the first step to those buyers getting out there and shopping.
Absolutely.
I've been experiencing an issue lately where It's an issue. Homes are on the market. I have these listings, and online they're getting a ton of saves, a ton of online activity. People are saving them. People are looking at them and showing interest, but they're not getting out there and coming in the door. So that is an issue, and it's their window shopping. But now that we have the uptick in loan applications, that means people are getting off their butt. They're starting the process. They're going to get out there. So I really hope to see some movement in this market, because it has been a slow summer.
That it really has. And, I think, like I said, I think a lot of people were waiting to kind of see what was going to happen. And so at the end of the day, when you're really looking at numbers, just to give kind of an example, a home that's like $500,000, if they're putting 20% down, 6.875, their principal and interest payment would be right around almost $3,300, $3,294. At a 6.1%, they're looking at $204 less.
Yeah.
So it's going to keep going down, and so we're hoping that the people that maybe didn't find it so comfortable where their payment was, that this will help move them and get them through the door to start looking at purchasing real estate.
$200 in your pocket every month is nothing to be complaining about. So that's definitely a good thing. And those people that have been in those 7% rates, and some of these rates that we've seen over the past couple years, now can have that light at the end of the tunnel to be able to refinance into something that's more acceptable and more affordable and save some money on those payments. So that's great news too.
I mean, I can't, right? You're in real estate and I do lending, but if someone was trying to do a refinance and they absolutely needed cash out or something now, I would say, dude, on the refinance side, I'd say maybe wait and see what happens the next 2 meetings. But if you're looking to purchase, I probably would not wait, because the second these rates come down in the mid-5s, which we're hoping for by the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, that'll be wonderful.
And then you get a lot of the investors and the large investment companies that come and buy everything. So if you find something you like now, it's affordable. Let's get you moving through the doors so we can get you your house, and you can always refinance down the road.
Absolutely. And it is, we have so many buyers that have not bought over the last couple of years because of rates that are going to hit the market once we get something acceptable out there. So I would say, don't hesitate. Don't put that off. Just get into it now. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about some news that has been headlining pretty much around here about an LVR director and a social media post. So we'll get into that next. Stay tuned.
Hey Vegas! Celebrate every day in style at the Composer's Room. We bring you non-stop entertainment infused with the vibrant spirit of Las Vegas. Our tavern serves the best drinks in town. Whether you're a cocktail connoisseur or a beer buff, our bartenders got you covered. And let's not forget about the food. Our culinary delights are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Come for the entertainment and stay for the food. Reserve your visit to the Composer's Room today and start celebrating Las Vegas our way.
Looking for a night out that's pure Vegas? Welcome to Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, voted best comedy club in Las Vegas. Located at the Link Promenade, just steps from the High Roller, it's your ticket to big laughs from top comics handpicked by Jimmy Kimmel himself. No two shows are alike. Every night's a headliner, and every seat's a great one. Get your laughs at the best. Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, only in Vegas, only at the Link.
Every home has a story. What's yours? From your first home to your forever home, Trish Williams helps you write each chapter. Real estate is about the life you build. Hire Trish to be part of your story. Trish Williams, Keller Williams Realty. License S.01755530, call 702-308-2878. Start your next chapter today.
So we are back, Vegas, and we're talking about, right now, we're going to get into this LVR director, Mark Civic. So Let me give you a little background here. Some people don't know LVR, Las Vegas Association of Realtors. They kind of have their own government of sorts. That it's elected positions, a board of directors that they campaign for. They go through this process to get elected, and it's over several months. This individual, Mark Civic, had campaigned for this position as LVR director. He got elected at 2 p.m. as LVR director. This was the same day of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Later on that evening, around 5 p.m., he did a post, and it was there's some posts out there that are not quite praises, but this was quite a praise, a very big praise to the assassination, to the shooter, it was very vulgar, just inhumane, and by within 24 hours exactly, he had resigned from that position, but there was so much outrage amongst the realtor community about this. I mean, if you even look it up on social media, type his name in, there is tons of posts.
I saw it all over my feed, and I'm not even a realtor, but it was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
And not only that, so he had resigned from his position as LVR director by the end of the day, the following day. He was the broker of a local real estate company. By 9 a.m., they had fired him. He's removed. And he had his business page. As realtors, we all have a business Facebook, social media page, and it has like a percentage. It was at 90-something% recommended, from reviews that people had posted. So many people went and posted horrible reviews after this about him. He was down to 28%. By the end of the day, he had to remove that page as well. And he removed himself from social media. He did a public apology before that happened on social media, but it's still, the backlash was, the damage had been done. Nothing had happened. And this whole thing, of course, and this isn't to get into anything political or whatever, but I think the danger that people have with this is, especially in the social media world, you get into a point where you don't want to listen to anybody that doesn't agree with you. So you block them, you unfriend them, and then you're stuck in this like digital world of everybody that just cheers on your opinions only. And you forget about the rest of the world and what everybody else thinks or what everybody else could think, and you're stuck in this bubble, and it's dangerous. I mean, this guy destroyed his career. His license is now inactive. He destroyed his career in less than 24 hours, and he was not young. He's been in the business for quite a while. He's a well-known name in the business. Just totally imploded everything over a ridiculous post, and it was inhumane. I mean, in real life, if, there was I had an Uber driver a couple weeks ago who she had told me it was the anniversary of her son's death. And that's terrible. That's horrible. I'm so sorry that happened. No humane person would say, like, well, how'd your son vote? Did he deserve it? Like, that's not what somebody that has any kind of compassion does. Yeah. So it's not acceptable. Murder's never acceptable in our society. So it's not okay. And it's just that fine line that the social media world gets us in, to where we think that it is somehow acceptable, or somebody might think that it's acceptable to do this. It's not. And it's something to be very cautious of. I think everybody should have learned a good lesson from that.
Yeah, I think no matter how you feel when you post something, especially based on how it was posted, there's going to be a lot of backlash. Whether you agreed with, this man's beliefs or what he stood for, one, no one should be killed for speaking on what their truth is, right?
Absolutely.
Regardless if you agree or totally disagree.
Absolutely.
But especially when you're in a position of power, your words do have meaning, and they have an effect, and we saw it very quickly.
not only a position of power, but Las Vegas Realtors is not a political organization. We are not an organization that should be split by Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
We are an organization of realtors that are servicing the consumers, and that means that we're supposed to be servicing and accepting people on both sides of the table.
Correct.
And we're talking about a person that represents us and is supposed to represent us as a whole. That was a very dividing statement he made, and same thing with his brokerage. It was Realty One Group. They're a big brokerage, and I'm sure they have people on both sides of the aisle that are in that group. And this is the broker. Our broker is our, the head.
Yeah,
That's who is in
absolutely.
charge of our contracts, in charge of everything. You can't alienate people like that. It's just terrible. And it was a very harsh and inhumane statement to make. So,
and unfortunately, I think he learned probably a lot that day. And obviously within 48 hours, I think his entire life changed.
oh my gosh, just totally just imploded his career. And he's been in the business for a long time, I think over 30 years. And that is just one day everything comes crumbling down. I can't imagine why. I don't know why you would do that, or why you would, what he could have been thinking when he did that.
And unfortunately, I think some people put their beliefs and their emotions without thinking it through in the backlash. And I think, it was a very hard lesson to learn very quickly.
Yeah. And I used to teach classes on social media a few years ago when, realtors were trying to learn how to, market themselves on social media. And that was one of the first things I would bring up to people is keep your political views out of it and keep them to yourself. You're not there to be political. And if you want to have a profile or have this out there where it is going to be political, you don't connect it with your business whatsoever. That's ridiculous. It's a really pretty ignorant thing to do, in my opinion. And you really have to just understand that you're servicing consumers and not narrowing yourself down to just one group of people. And I just think that that's something that everybody should be mindful of.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, when we come back, we are going to talk about one of the fastest cooling markets in the country, and it's right here in Vegas. So we'll get into that. Stay tuned.
Every home has a story. What's yours? From your first home to your forever home, Trish Williams helps you write each chapter. Real estate is about the life you build. Hire Trish to be part of your story. Trish Williams, Keller Williams Realty. License S.01755530, call 702-308-2878. Start your next chapter today.
Welcome back, Vegas. Well, Las Vegas has been named as one of the cities in the country that is cooling the fastest. So they're saying we're amongst the slowest right now in sales in the country. Our sales are down from 2024 overall 10.2%. You sent me an article that we are 5.8% down from July of 2024. So definitely some slow movement in sales. We've seen that in the charts that we had earlier in the show.
Do you think there's a reason why specifically here?
I don't. I mean, I think Las Vegas is a great draw. I do think that we got a lot of buyers, and over the last few years, we've had a lot of buyers coming from California.
Yeah.
California is also one of the fastest cooling markets right now. Prices there are unaffordable, especially with the high rates. And California buyers were buyers because they were able to sell their homes in California and cash in on all this money and come bring it to Vegas and buy a bigger home or a bigger mansion or downsize and keep some money in their pocket. If their homes aren't selling, our homes are not selling. So it is, some people thought it was a joke or some people thought that was exaggerated, but we got a ton of buyers from California. And we still do. The luxury market is still moving a bit faster than the entry home market, the standard median home price. And the luxury market that is moving is cash buyers from out of state.
Yeah, I think there's those price points where it's, I don't want to say lower income, but it's people that maybe don't have such expendable cash to spend, right? So, a payment for them might just be undoable when an average house here is sitting, at $489,000, $85,000?
Yeah. And that's just the median home. That's not, no pool, no big, it's not a big, huge home. It's just a median home. And we have had a slight reduction in prices, but not enough to compensate for where the rates have been.
And not enough where you're seeing a lot of these people who are first-time home buyers that are younger. They're like, it's just not affordable. I'd rather just stay renting because either their down payment or there's just so many reasons why they're not moving forward. And maybe the house that they want is just unaffordable, right? When years ago you could get a lot more for $250,000, $300,000. So right now I think it's just kind of that waiting period where it's, people on the fence or people trying to save more to put money down to make those their mortgage payment a lot more affordable.
Absolutely. And back to the luxury market and the way that it's moving faster, I can tell you from the listing side of being on a listing, and I have had a couple luxury listings on the market, every potential buyer is not local.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I'm really telling to my sellers is I do market outside of the city because in that price point it's not very common for a local Las Vegas person to be able to afford that price point. We just don't have the incomes really here to sustain that unless it's, there definitely are some higher income earners in the valley, but just for the majority of it, they are out-of-state buyers.
And I think a lot of them, too, are coming from California, especially during, retirement, to get away from those high property taxes, and they're coming here and buying cash and, getting rid of their large expenses that were unfortunately in California, especially with the fire insurance and all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Very costly.
And that's a big factor. Now, this article came out a couple days ago from Review Journal, and I dispute it. So the article.
You disagree?
I disagree. I disagree. The article was on dirt shortage. It's back to dirt shortage. We're running out of dirt in the valley. I totally agree with that. It is true. But the builders are there's outrage with all the new construction builders that we have a housing shortage, which isn't going to be able to be fixed because they're auctioning off BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management, auctioning off this land, but the auction process is very lengthy, and there's a lot of red tape when it comes to putting utilities through federal land, so that process can take years. So the builders are saying this is a crisis, we're running out of homes, we have a housing shortage and everything with that. we don't have a housing shortage
Not
right
at
now.
all.
We have an influx of inventory. So I get the principle. We are running out of dirt in the valley, but I do think we have time to wait this through because the builders right now, in my opinion, are overbuilding.
And that's why they were also, I think we talked about this a couple shows ago, that they were dramatically reducing a lot of the cost of the new builds because all of a sudden they built a ton of these homes and then there was no buyers.
Right. Right. So I think they say it takes about 3 years. I think we have 3 years to wait for more building to happen because we have
100%.
enough inventory right now to get through before that even comes. And then there's been a lot of news about tourism slumps.
Yeah, so I was reading up on a bunch of different things right now, and based on all the trends, clearly the economy has slowed a little bit. It is obvious that people are not trying to spend as much. People are a little bit tighter with how they're spending. And one thing we know about living here in Vegas, nothing is ever cheap, especially on the Strip.
Exactly. But one other thing that I think has not been brought up, which I wonder, I'd like to see year over year stats on this. We slow down every summer. It's 120 degrees.
We do.
Every single summer, our strip is narrowed down. There's not as many people there. Not many people want to visit Vegas in the height of the summer.
And 120 degrees, yeah.
Are these slumps like something that happens, maybe it's a little more this year, but is it a seasonal slump or is this an actual tourism slump?
So statistically, it was a 7.3 decrease from last year in the first quarter, and then the second quarter was almost 12% down.
Okay.
So
all right.
it
So
is
there
statistically
a
lot less busy, even though summer is a bit less busy no matter what.
Yeah.
The occupancy was down, I think 76.1%, they said in July for hotels here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that is a big decrease, but I have optimism that we're going to get filled back up once we pass these triple digits.
And then we have convention season that's coming, which always brings in a ton of business. But, even the locals were saying, and it was on the news, that they want the Strip to make it much more affordable for like us locals because they're saying we just go to like the station casinos. We don't want to go on the Strip.
Yeah.
Especially to pay for parking and do all of that. But I think we're not in sticker shock when a drink is $30, but
yeah,
other people are.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. When you budget for a vacation, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So, Courtney, how do people get a hold of you if they want to get some money and get in on these good rates that we have coming?
Yes, so you can reach me at Citywide Mortgage. My phone number is 702-416-6918, and get in while the rates are getting lower.
Yes, and if you need help getting into that home, you can call me 702-308-2878. I'm Trish Williams, Keller Williams Realty, and every week we are here, every other week we are here on Hey Vegas TV. You can check out our link tree at realtycheck.vegas and connect with us everywhere there, see our upcoming shows, and we're streaming here on Hey Vegas, so check us out here. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you.